Hello and welcome to this video on weird Japanese experiments. Actually, thinking about it, we should probably be more specific as Japan has a lot of weird experiments, both now and historically. In this case, we are specifically looking at a long-running historical experiment in which Japan studied tree growth and spacing. What you see here are two seemingly odd circles of trees that are, well, they show up every now and then in social media. Sadly, no, they are not alien crop circles, as this would at least diversify the alien sightings to outside the USA, or at least the mainland of the USA. As these are not crop circles, the question is then, what are they? The answer is a long-running experiment on tree growth. This does start quite a ways back, in 1973, where Japanese Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries wanted to know how much room does a tree need to grow efficiently and effectively? To find this out, they funded this odd circle of trees. Treehenge, if you will. Specifically, what they've done is plant out 10 concentric rings of trees, but each tree was planted approximately 10 degrees off from the next. It meant that every circle should have 36 trees, and that, as the circles got further away, the space between each tree grew. In fact, you see the general trend with this. More space for the tree, the bigger it gets quicker. That is to say, the outermost ring has the biggest trees because they have the most room around them. And of course, the innermost ring has the smallest trees, leading to something very much like a dish shape. That is, the innermost ring is the least developed tree, or at least trees, plural. With the outermost ring being the most developed, you get that sort of concave appearance. The reason for this is, as mentioned earlier, to understand how much room to give a tree to grow. Yes, the obvious answer of providing huge distances sounds great, but in a country with limited land and much of it mountainous, you need to use what you have carefully, especially if we're talking about areas suitable for forestry. Therefore, the best balance between growth rate and size versus the density of planting is and was important. You wanted trees that could use, at least reasonably soon, but not be tiny. Conversely, Japan could not wait decades for trees to grow. They had industries suddenly surging and they needed material. And so they had to figure this out. Of course, long-running experiments won't exactly answer the question, but they will give you a very good idea about where you can start. After all, if at the end of 10 years some of the trees had made no growth whatsoever, you know that that's not much good. However, if they've begun to grow quite well, you have a much better idea. In fact, it's important to note that the trees were originally due to be harvested in 2011, but the time frame was extended out to 2023 and even 2024, and government looks to be planning is perhaps not the right word, but that's the current best term for it, to preserve the site for longer again, if not permanently. That or Japan's hiding its secret arsenal weapons of war when they re-weaponize like Russia did in The Simpsons.
The Soviet Union will be pleased to offer amnesty to your wayward vassal.
The Soviet Union? I thought you guys broke up.
Yes, that's what we wanted you to think.
But we're assuming that in this case, they're just going to be trying to keep it for cultural and aesthetic purposes. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. And please do put any comments, questions, or suggestions you have below.